Footsteps echo on wet concrete. A woman in a white coat walks steadily down the corridor, past silent zookeepers lined along the rail. No one speaks. No one needs to. She carries nothing. No leash, no tools, no fear. Just memory in her stride. Ahead, the lion waits. Golden eyes meet hers from behind steel bars. Not angry, not sad, just watching, as if searching her face for something only he would know. The air is thick with years. One keeper whispers, "Is she really going in there?" But no one stops her. They've seen what no training manual could teach. The language of loyalty, of time, of silence. Shared flash cuts. A cub too small to stand. A feeding bottle, a torn glove, and a quiet laugh. The roar of a teenager who refused to sleep unless she was near. Back in the present, the cage door clicks open. Metal groans. Breath catches. She steps in. One foot, then the next. The lion doesn't move, only his tail flicks once. Slow, deliberate. She kneels, just a few feet away. Hands open, empty, like always. The two sit in silence. Man-made world around them. But in this moment, only the wild and the heart remain. 9 years have led to this, not a farewell of fear, but one of trust. Asterisk. Rain taps against a tall pane of glass. A young woman in oversized scrubs stands in a sterile hallway, clutching a clipboard too tightly. Her badge reads, Dr. Emily Ross, veterinary intern. Down the corridor, a transport cage is wheeled in, chained and dented, inside a fragile lion cub. Ribs showing through patchy fur, eyes wide with exhaustion and fear. He doesn't growl. He just curls tighter in the corner. A file folder is handed over. Confiscated from a private menagerie in Eastern Europe. Kept in a basement. Malnourished. Name, unknown. Later that night, the room glows dim under a desk lamp. Emily kneels on the floor beside the cub's crate. She hums softly. A lullaby, off-key but warm. A bottle in one hand, her sketchbook open beside her. Half a lion's face drawn in pencil. She glances from page to fur, filling in the lines. The cub drinks slowly. His eyes stay locked on hers the entire time. Days pass. Late nights turn to early mornings. Feeding, cleaning, sketching, singing, a bond forming. Quiet and invisible but strong. In the background, footsteps echo. A voice, older, firm. He's not a pet. Don't grow too attached. But Emily never answers. She just lowers her pen and looks at the cub again, who has started to purr. A name begins to form at the bottom of the sketch. Raka Swahili for firelight. Sunlight spills across the zoo's lion enclosure. Where once a cub stumbled, now a young lion paces with power beneath his paws. But still, when the world gets loud, when the trainers shout, when the gates clang and steel rattles, he only calms. When she appears, Emily, she walks to the edge of the fence. No whistle, no leash, just her voice. Easy. Raka, she says softly, and he stops. Every time. Training begins, not with force, but with familiar rhythm. Voice commands, gentle gestures, repetition. He follows not out of obedience, but trust. As the weeks pass, a new ritual begins. Every evening, after the last visitor has left, Emily sits on a weathered wooden bench outside the enclosure. She opens a worn paperback, folds one leg over the other, and begins to read aloud. Fairy tales, field guides, her own notes. It doesn't matter what. Behind the mesh, Raka lies down facing her, eyes half closed, listening. Always listening. Word spreads. A few visitors return, lingering near closing time. They watch, hushed and wide-eyed, as the young lion listens to every word. They start calling him the listening lion. Rain lashes against the windows. A sleek, modern office replaces the cozy staff room of years past. New management, new rules. Old heart, pushed to the margins. A man in a tailored suit closes a file marked RAKA Lion, age 9. Too old, too unpredictable, too expensive. In staff reports, Raka is labeled agitated, inconsistent, unsafe with unfamiliar handlers. The decision comes quietly. Behind closed doors, he'll be euthanized at dawn. No press, no statement. Jez removed. His enclosure will be repurposed for something younger, flashier, exotic, a snow leopard from overseas, maybe a panda. Emily stands frozen, a memo trembling in her hand. Her protests were filed, then dismissed. This isn't about you, they said, it's policy. She presses her forehead to the cold glass of Raka's enclosure. Inside, he sleeps peacefully, unaware of the ticking clock. 12 hours. That's all she has. One last night. The gates are locked, lights off. Security lights flicker faintly in the rain, but a shadow moves along the fence. A hooded figure slips through a side entrance silence. Certain. Emily. She moves like someone following memory. Down winding paths, past exhibits asleep in the dark, to one place, Raka's enclosure. She slips under the railing and sits on the same old wooden bench. A flashlight, a book, the cover cracked and worn. The Little Prince. She reads aloud, soft, slow, the kind of voice used only for stories that matter. You become responsible forever for what you have tamed. Inside, Raka stirs. He rises larger now, aged, scarred but moves with silent grace. He doesn't roar, doesn't blink. He just listens, like always. She reaches through the mesh, fingertips brushing air. You were never just an animal, she whispers. You were my compass, my quiet, my firelight. Her voice breaks. Tears slip down her cheeks, landing on the page. Raka paces once, a slow, deliberate circle, then returns to her. He lies down at the edge of the fence, pressing one massive paw against the bars. Emily presses her palm to his flesh to fur, heartbeat to silence. For one last night. They are not trainer and beast. Not human and lion. They are simply two souls, saying goodbye without words. The sun hasn't fully risen, but the zoo is already alive. Cameras are in place, reporters murmuring, staff whispering instructions through radios. A vet preps the tranquilizer gun. The director checks his watch. Behind it, all the cage, silent, and still. Then Emily walks in, no hesitation. No handler escort, just her, in her work boots and coat, walking straight toward the inner gate. The staff freezes. Stop her, someone calls. Too late, she opens the cage. Steps inside, gasps, hands. Move to weapons. Voices rise, half-shouted warnings, orders, fear. Inside the enclosure, Raka lifts his head. Slow, intentional. Watching her, he rises, massive, magnificent, a force of nature. But he doesn't lunge. He doesn't growl. He stares. She walks slowly. Each step a promise. Her breath is steady. She kneels down, eyes locked with his around them, chaos. But in that space, between lion and woman, there is only silence. Tense, holy, unbroken. The world holds its breath, and Raka waits. The air is frozen in tension. Emily kneels, hands at her sides. Eyes locked with the lion's. Not a word spoken. Not a sound until, Raka, exhales. A deep, trembling breath. Then, from his chest, a low, aching sound, not a growl, but a mournful rumble, soft, heavy, grief in the shape of breath. He steps forward deliberately. The staff grip their rifles, knuckles white, hearts pounding. But Raka doesn't lunge. He doesn't even roar. He lowers his great head and gently presses it against Emily's shoulder. The force moves her slightly, but she stays still, eyes closed. Then, slowly, impossibly, Raka lays down. His enormous body curls gently, protectively, and his head settles into her lap. The crowd gasps quiet, stunned. No one dares speak at first. Even the wind seems to hush. Then from the back a whisper, choked by tears. He knows. Another staff member covers her mouth, crying softly. All at once, the room isn't a cage, it's a cathedral, and the beast inside it. Not a danger, not a curse, but a soul, saying goodbye. A young volunteer, forgotten in the chaos, holds up her phone. She recorded everything. From Emily's first step into the cage to the lion's head resting in her lap. Not a moment missed, not a second faked. INT bedroom night, she hits upload. The video title reads, The Lion Who Loved Her. Within hours, it explodes. Millions of views, shared across continents, across languages, clips on news channels, reels on phones, stitched with music, subtitled, shared, reposted. People don't just watch, they feel, they cry, they rage, they act. Petitions flood in. #SaveRaka trends within 24 hours. Animal rights groups call. Schoolchildren write letters. A-list celebrities speak out. If this is love, how can they kill him? This isn't just a lion, this is proof. Animals remember. He deserves to live. The zoo's inbox crashes. Phone lines jam. Reporters crowd the gates. Inside the boardroom, directors sit pale and rattled. Everything they thought they controlled, now in the hands of the world. They stare at the frozen screen on the wall. A lion curled in a woman's lap, while the world weeps with them. And they realize they don't just have a lion. They have a symbol. The truck doors open. Raka steps down onto grass, not concrete. Sky above. Real wind, no walls. He blinks at the sunlight, then walks forward free. The sanctuary was built in just 3 months. Public donations, thousands of hands. Painted signs. From children, steel fences, acres of wildland. Not a zoo, not a cage, a promise, and Emily. She left the zoo without a second thought. No press conference, no farewell tour. Just a letter on her desk and a bag in her trunk. She's here now. Director, caretaker. Titles don't matter. She builds feeding stations, tracks habits, logs behavior, but each day, at sunset she brings one thing, her old weathered copy of The Little Prince, pages soft at the edges, binding barely holding, words she's read 100 times. She sits on a rock beneath a tree. Raka lounges nearby, tail flicking, eyes half closed. She begins to read, and when you've tamed someone, you become responsible for them forever. The breeze moves her hair. The lion doesn't move, just listens. Like always, visitors come, media returns. But they never interrupt the story hour. They just watch. From a distance, as a woman and a lion share something too quiet for words. Warm light spills across wooden shelves lined with books and field journals. A mug of tea steams gently beside a well-worn sketchbook. Emily sits alone. Dust motes float in the amber light. She opens the cover pages filled with years of quiet moments. Raka, as a cub, awkward and thin. Raka mid-roar, young and wild. Raka, lying beside the fence, eyes watching her read. Her fingers move slowly, stopping at the final page. Blank. She exhales, then picks up a pencil. Raka sleeps beneath the tree where she reads. Sunlight dapples his mane. The grass shifts in the wind. Line by line, the image appears. Raka curled peacefully under that very tree, drawn from memory, but alive in every stroke. She smiles softly. Closes the book, sets it gently on the table. A final voice drifts over the image. He wasn't just a lion, he was a soul that remembered. A single page remains open. The sketch of a lion beneath a tree. The screen fades to black. Credits roll.